5 Stars on Game Day One is brought to you by Veolia. Be sure to click on to veolia.us to learn more about their conservation program today to learn how to save money and save water.
The regular season in Section 1 basketball is now complete. We get ready for the postseason. Bracketology is done. The brackets come out on Tuesday. Hopefully not evening. Hopefully it's the afternoon, but you never know. But the brackets, as we know them, are online on GameDay1.com. Want to welcome you in as we put a bow on the final week of the regular season with our Veolia 5 Stars of the Week. Very exciting because we're going to do a little theme this week. So I'm sorry to guys like Jake Sheehy of Horace Greeley and other players who had big weeks. This is going to be a seniors only account here on our final 5 stars because this might be the final games for some of the seniors coming up in the Section 1 playoffs this past week. A lot of senior days, a lot of emotional moments. So we're going to do seniors only 5 stars, and here we go with the guy. We start off with Rye and Jake Kessner. Kessner, I realize that Jake Kessner has been 5 stars once this whole year, but he's really consistently been the best player on one of the best teams in Class AA this season at the Garnets. And we saw in the final week just how good and how much he is a stabilizing force. What really makes Rye special is they have a variety of players around Jake Kessner who can put up 10 to 15 points in a game. Kessner is always there, game in, game out, both ends of the floor, being that consistent player who's averaging around 15 points a game himself. So Kessner is our first 5 stars of the week. He had 17 in a win over Harrison on Friday night. And then he only scored 9 against Tappan Zee on Saturday. They beat Tappan Zee, and really what I found most special for Kessner was that he didn't force things. You know, he doesn't go out there and try and put up more shots. He just scores very much in the flow of the offense. TZ tried to take him out of the game. They did a nice job defensively on him. He's now found his teammates. He was great on defense, and he has Rye now as the number 3 seed going into the Section 1 playoffs. So Jake Kessner is our first member of the 5 stars. Our next member of the 5 stars, this guy's a senior. Aiden White didn't start the season for the Rams because he was injured coming off a great football season. He comes up, and he has been terrific all season long now since his return. And he has the Rams. You know, the Rams are a scary team. They're going to be down the road in the Class AA playoffs, probably going to be a 15 seed in Class AA, likely hosting Brewster. And then Yorktown the second round, a Yorktown team that they lost to twice. But Aiden White is such a dynamic player and a scorer. We saw what he did this past week, 24 points in a win over Mayapack, 7 points in the fourth quarter. That's as big of a win for them, this program, considering the crowd they had there for Carmel. And he also had 20 points in a loss to Spring Valley, but he did hit a 3-pointer in that game that forced overtime. So he has big shot-making ability, and Aiden White is our next member of the 5 stars. As I said, they're going to have to go through Brewster, and then they have to go through Yorktown. And Yorktown should be very scared. They beat them twice in the regular season. One of the games is very close. And Aiden White is going to be a guy. He's a senior. He's not going to want to go down easily against Yorktown. Next member of the 5 stars, team we haven't really talked about this season on 5 stars, North Rockland. And the reason being is that 5 stars is obviously, unfortunately, built around stats, guys who put up big numbers. Nobody in North Rockland puts up big numbers, but Julian Martinez has been their most consistent player, and we saw in the final week of the season how he continues to rise to the occasion. And this past week, he was terrific. 13 points in a win over Clarkstown North, which secured the league championship. He had 15 points in a win over Ramapo on Monday, 16 last week in a 20-point win over Spring Valley, averaging only 13 points per game, but he's a relentless defensive player, and he just won the Rockland County Official Sportsmanship Award, which is a nice honor. And Julian Martinez, as we said, a guy's going to go into the postseason with a lot of experience and going to be a very dangerous out. This North Rockland team, you know, we talk so much about Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, Spring Valley, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, Scarsdale, and then, you know, you talk about Arlington is suffering, but North Rockland has kind of got a little under the radar. Reminds me of a couple years ago when they were completely under the radar, and then they won the section championship, so you never know with North Rockland. Our next member of the 5 stars, another senior, and this one comes from Putnam Valley, James Apostolico. Now, Putnam Valley, if you haven't noticed, they're one of the hottest teams in Section 1, and they end the season winning 8 out of 9 games. They win over Haldane this past week to secure clinch a share of the league championship, which, you know, this is a Putnam Valley team. They're 12-8. They won 8 out of 9. They had lost 7 out of 8 games prior to this stretch, and in that stretch, Apostolico is averaging 26.1 points per game in those 9 games. He had 34 points in a win over North Salem, 31 in a win over Haldane, as we said. That clinched a share of the league championship. So James Apostolico, Putnam Valley, they're going to be completely forgotten about going into the playoffs, and a very dangerous team in Class B. Our next team in the 5 stars, next player of the 5 stars, I'm going to give it to a team. And that team is Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie Pioneers. It's been a very difficult 48 hours for this program, obviously, since Friday afternoon. News breaking about what's going on with head coach Cody Moffitt. Poughkeepsie's season, though, is not over. They have two seniors in this team that are good leaders, in Caden Birdsong and Savion Nesbitt, that are great leaders and players who've really come on strong late in the season. And Poughkeepsie just said the season is not over. They're going to go into the postseason, and they can go in a different direction. They can, not having their head coach, they can go down early, or they can be galvanized and try and put things and make a little bit of a script for themselves. Nesbitt and Birdsong all season long carrying this team. And this, they have mostly three juniors around them, and I've watched them over the course of the season. They've had some incredible wins, winning at home against Newburgh, beating Carmel, and they're a team that's very dangerous going into the postseason. As I said, these stories tend to have a way to kind of be written when the kids and the players in the program decide that they're going to take things on themselves and be, as we said, be galvanized and inspired and do things for their former coach. Poughkeepsie just might be that team. Going to be a fun postseason. We'll see you soon.